What's up guys, all things MTG here today with my mono black devotion deck tech. I know I haven't done a deck tech in a while, let alone standard. Well, to get started we got 4 Grey Merchant of Asphodel because it's a 2-drop with good devotion, plus its ability is awesome, and so is the art on the card. We got 4 Baleful Eidolons, 1/1 for 2 with Bestow, and Enchanted Creature, if it's Bestow, gets +1/+1 and Death Touch. It's really good early game, you know. Oh, it's a good devotion starter. Not so good with Bestow, really, unless you bestow in like the early game. Well, when I say early game, I mean like the turn you can bestow it upon your creature. We got 3 Corpse Haulers for 2. It's a 2/1. You could sack it to return your creature from the graveyard to your hand, which is really the only reason they're in there. Which is also the reason I didn't run a... Oh, we skipped, sorry. Okay, 3 Disciple of Phenax. It's a 1/3 for 4. And you get to look at your opponent cards in your opponent's hand equal to your devotion to black, which is really good because you can get rid of stuff like Thoughtseize, Stormbreath Dragon, the Gods, you know, Nessian Wild's Ravager, all sorts of things you can get rid of. Of course, you choose one and that player discards it. Now we have Corpse Hauler, which is a really good turn 2, I guess. But it's the reason it's in his deck is, okay, let's say your Erebos was destroyed and he's in your graveyard, right? He was enchantment destroyed. No, oh no, okay, no, not that. Sorry. Abhorrent Overlord. Let's say he died, you know. So you can sacrifice your Corpse Hauler to put your Abhorrent Overlord back into your hand. Sorry. Next we have 2 Marsh Mist Titans. For 7. It's a 4/5. It's a 7-drop, but here's a good cool part. It costs 1 colorless less, or X colorless less to cast, where X is your devotion to black. So you could play it on a turn 4 if you had a turn 5, because his devotion counts into it. It is, I think. I know with the others their devotion counts too, but put in the comments if it does. We got 2 Lash of the Whip. For 5, target creature gets -4/-4 to end their turn. It's really good for killing a creature, or for making a Nessian Wild's Ravager. It's a 6/6, less threatening, or if you pay tribute, it's a 12/12. Still pretty threatening because it'd be an 8/8, but you can make it less so. 2, and then we have 2 Way to the Underworld. For 4, it's an enchantment, or for 4, you enchant creature, and that creature gets -3/-2. Again, good for making a certain creature less threatening, like maybe one of the gods, or Nessian Wild's Ravager, or just a really pumped up, Night Howler. But okay, we've got 2 Liturgy of Blood, because you can destroy a target creature, and of course it's for 5, but you destroy a target creature, which is a good part. You can use it for removal, and on the plus side you get to add 3 swamps to your mana pool, allowing you to cast things like Night Howler, Mogis Marauder, Blood Toll Harpy, Pain Seer, and allowing you to be able to ramp up for things like Liliana's Reaver, or Erebos, or even Erebos is the Whip of Erebos. But yeah, I like it. It's not really go-to card at times. If you don't really like it, you could put in Doomblade or Darkbetrayal if your card shop has mono black floating around more. And then we have 2 Night Howlers. Oh, one of them mine's full. For 3, it's a 0/0 with bestow, and you bestow it, and Night Howler and enchanted creature get +1, +X, where X is the number of creature cards in all graveyards. So it's really amazing if you're making your opponent sacrifice creatures, you're killing your opponent's creatures of yours are dying too, which isn't the best part. But of course, gotta make sacrifices occasionally, right? We have Mogis Marauder. Who's a 2/2 for 3, and when you enter the battlefield, up to X target creatures each gain Intimidate and Haste until end of turn, where X is your devotion to black. So what you can do is you could play this on creatures that you've all played that turn, right? So they don't have haste, and Intimidate, which is a better one. If you play it, all of them gain haste and can't be blocked except by black creatures, unless you're running some red. If you're, it's okay in a dual color deck, but I think it shines much better in mono black. We've got 2 Bloodtour Harpies. For 3, it's a 2/1 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, here's a key part. It has flying, so it's evasion. And it also, when it enters the battlefield, each player loses 1 life. Of course, you lose 1 life, but you will be quickly gaining some of that back with the Grey Merchant of Asphodel. So you can use it to ping them if, say, yeah, pretty much. We have 2 Grizzly Transformations. It's 3 mana enchanted creature. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. An enchanted creature has Intimidate, which is pretty good, because if you don't have Mogis Marauder, you can put Intimidate on your biggest creature, which could be an Erebos, who's a creature, plus you get to draw a card. And the better part is, this doesn't last till end of turn, like Mogis Marauder does. It's permanent. Or until the creature is dead, or the enchantment's destroyed. Next up, we have 1 Pain Seer. It's a 2/2 for 2. With Inspired, and when it becomes untapped, you can reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. But the drawback is you lose life equal to its converted mana cost. So if you pull something up like Abhorrent Overlord, you're losing 7 life, or Marshmith Titan, you're losing 7 life, which is a disadvantage. But I would sideboard in 3 more of them, and also sideboard in, or maybe put in some ways to tap creatures, so that it becomes inspired by more than just attacking. So that it becomes tapped by more than just attacking. What am I talking about? But next up, we have 1 Abhorrent Overlord. For 7, it's a 6/6 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, you may put a 1/1 flying Harpy token into play equal to your devotion to black. And at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature, which is really good, because I mean it's a 6/6 with flying, and a 6/6 with flying, Intimidate, and Death Touch. It's pretty good if you put on a Baleful Eidolon and a maybe Grizzly Transformation. There you're going to be hitting them like a truck. Well, it'd be a 7/7 with Baleful Eidolon, but still, you would be hitting like a truck every turn. Well, no, not every turn. every turn except the turn you play it. And then we have 1 Pontiff of Blight because it has extort, so you can gain life and you're paying off life from your opponent by playing spells. And it is a 2/7 for 6, which is the drawback here. But next up we have Liliana's Reaver. So 4/3 for 4 with Death Touch. And when it deals combat damage to a player, you may put that player discards a card and you put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield tapped, which is really good because you're getting tokens to sacrifice to Abhorrent Overlord, and your opponent is getting rid of cards. Of course, the disadvantage is he could just be getting rid of lands or weak cards, but you're still getting rid of his cards, right? We have 1 Whip of Erebos. It's for 4 creatures you control have lifelink, and you can return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Exile at the beginning of the next end step. If it would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting anywhere else. Activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. Of course, really good if you have a creature like maybe an Abhorrent Overlord, or even a Grey Merchant of Asphodel, which means you could swing with it for 2, which isn't so much, unless you also swing with an Abhorrent Overlord. But its effect will trigger again. Like, let's say it died during one of the earlier turns, and then you play it on a later turn. Its effect will trigger, and you do the Whip of Erebos. Its effect will trigger again. It'll be more powerful because you'll probably have more creatures out. So you'll gain more life and they'll deal more damage. So that's why I like the whip, just to let you know. And next up we have the star of our deck, Erebos, God of the Dead, who is 4 for 5/7 with, he's obviously indestructible. And as long as your devotion to black is less than 5, he's not a creature. Obviously, all the gods are like that, or all the old ones. The new ones are 7 though. Your opponents can't gain life. That is amazing when going against a life gain deck with Congregate and Riot Control. Believe me, both annoying cards that are rendered, and Extort even, on your opponents, rendered useless with Erebos. Except Riot Control, they still wouldn't deal damage, but no life. And you can, of course, pay 2 to pay 2 life to draw a card, which, if you absolutely need it, it's pretty good. And next we have our lands. We have 24 swamps. We have 24 because we have a few high casting cost creatures and medium cost. But don't forget to follow us on Twitter and like our Facebook page at All Things MTG. This has been Will signing out. Bye.